3.3 trillion. Of course, Kenya is looking now to raise 2.4 trillion, and the excess is going to come from excessive taxation, which has been laid out here. So many effects out of this. Of course, inflation not being the least of them. Job losses also imminent, as local manufacturers are going to try and cushion themselves from the proposed tax measures. And in this finance bill of 2022, which has been presented to by the National Treasury to the Finance and Planning Committee chaired by Homa Bay Woman Representative Gladys Wanga. Of course, all of these things, how exactly is it going to affect your spending power, how you're accessing local normal household commodities, and of course the cost of living for Kenyans. On the Daily Nation today, LSK is petitioning Parliament on tax proposals, and of course charging of VAT on essential products is going to affect the cost of living, going to reach or to go way beyond Kenyans' reach. And how can we come together and prevent this, or how can the country help itself out of a situation where it does require money to run, of course, its operations, and of which most of it is going to be towards recurrent expenditure. I'm seeing only 715 billion has been allocated towards development projects. That and much more is something we are going to look at here on Biashara Tuesday. Of course, there's also good news. Startups in Kenya have been funded so much money, more than way before, and I'm seeing we are currently the most funded startup ecosystem all over Africa. I'm going to give you those numbers in a short while, and which sectors of that particular of course, of the startup scene, which sectors, is it the finance side or the health, or is it fintech? And we're going to look at all of that and see where you can invest if you're someone who is looking to give out of money. Of course, this is around the time where tech firms have tried to simplify businesses for local SMEs and of course other businesses in the country, which means as we are heading towards that digital future, IT and software is something that you need to be looking at if you're looking to invest or you're looking to innovate at the same time. So all of those things we are going to be looking at and of course discussing with you all over social media platforms. We are also live on Facebook at KUTV Kenya. Make sure that you're interacting with us there and with all the other fans there in anything that we are discussing here. We'd love to hear your views. I am joined as well this morning by Samuel Mudhami, who is a Senior Librarian, Research and Special Collection at Kenyatta University. And the Kenyatta University Library Systems is something we are going to be looking at. Of course, as I said, digitization is a big thing right about now. We're coming out of that COVID-19 period where we had strict measures that showed us the importance of all of us going online and simplifying the processes that were previously deemed difficult. So library services, access of library resources by university students, by those who are not university students, all of that is a conversation I'm having here on how the Kenyatta University Library Systems is as of now, as of the moment. How is the evolution and what kind of digitization are they doing over there? May 2022, May of every year really, is the Mental Health Awareness Month. From the 1st of May to the end of the month, that is what we are looking at all over the world, trying to help ourselves understand mental health challenges, mental health awareness, mental health resources, and of course, one of those things that you can do that we all know is taking a walk, getting to join a group for a hike, or going to camping. All of those things, outdoor activities, are very key towards alleviating issues of mental health. And here, CEO of Jasiri Outdoors, who is Emmanuel Nguti, is joining me here to give me tales from the trails, how he has been, of course, hiking since 2013, according to him. And that was the first time he got into this passion and he's realized how important it is towards mental health. So this month, as we kickstart that conversation, he's here to help me know how you can harness the outdoors for your mental health. So tune in for that and give me your feedback and any questions that you want me to give out to all these guests that will be joining me here this morning. So much more, traffic updates, and also the news updates from last night. How are we doing in the country, globally as well, so that you can put it all into perspective in matters of business. So tune in for all of that. An exciting show lined up for you. As always, the hashtag Biashara Tuesday. Welcome. Let's kick it. All right, what is happening on those roads courtesy of Ma3 route? Lazima tukue safe tukielekea kazini, also so that we know and are fully aware of what is happening all over the road. I know that we are expecting President Uhuru Kenyatta to open the Nairobi Expressway this month, if I have that correct. So make sure that you are getting aware of how the Nairobi Expressway is working. You need a toll card to be on the expressway. So make sure unajua exactly how to get that. It's a very lengthy, explanation, which I can't give it out here. So follow me on social media at Richard_Kenya. I'll be tweeting the necessary link for you to check out how exactly the Nairobi Expressway will be operating. Also, I do know that BRT is also something that we are looking forward to next month, which is June. Parts of it from Kasarani to Kenyatta National Hospital is going to be operational. I know there are so many lanes, so many buses expected, of course, all electric and hybrid as well. So such information we'll be looking out for here every single time. So coming in and checking out if we are up to date to update you. Ma3 route here, courtesy of Ma3 route on Twitter. Nangalia from Githurai 45 to Roysambu roundabout. Service lane Kamishkana but Kanasonga Mosmos. This is Jairus Nyakagwa from Twitter pale, and I inform on what is happening on Thika Road. So if you're coming from Githurai, I need you to know that the service lane is unpassable, so unatumia highway. Right? Accident along Forest Road after Pangani overpass. Approach with caution. That is from Kenya Moja Forest Road over at Pangani overpass. Ensure you're approaching there with caution. The first commuter train from Ruiru is currently at the Mutindo stage. So we are calling upon the Kenya Railways to speed up the construction of the Mutindo station. Those are Outer Ring Road updates. And here, Rosalind anasema how I wish they would put one up pale City Stadium. We miss their service. So Kenya Railways, angalia maslahi ya watu wa Eastlands. Here also Langata Road, unatoka kwa nyumba 5 minutes later than your usual time, unafika job saa 6. So looks like there's a lot of traffic over at Langata Road. Watu wana complain that they're going to be late for work. Another day to keep safe. Watch out for motorists who assume and ignore traffic lights, rule of the road traffic rules. So remember that on the road, if you are a driver, you should consider yourself as the only sane person over on those roads. So keep safe and watch out for motorists who are assuming or ignore traffic lights or rule the road, and all of those some of those misdemeanors, if I may call them like that. We need an alternative to the Thika Superhighway. Jam haiwezi kuwa inaanzia Githurai 45 alafu tunaenda hivyo hadi Muthaiga. There's another accident inside the roundabout that is inconveniencing, and kindly be mindful and cautious as you approach that roundabout. So I think that's a Roysambu roundabout for that situation between Githurai and Roysambu. So much more. Also here, beautiful dual carriageway. There's another accident here on Forest Road after the Pangani overpass. So ensure you're safe if you're there at the Pangani overpass, Forest Road, and also Githurai towards Roysambu. So those are the two spots that are having troubles this morning. Anything else here? Bad accident on Mombasa Road. This was yesterday. I don't know how the situation is looking like right now. So give me any updates this morning. Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu. If you're watching us from anywhere else, traffic updates. Tunapenda sana. So at Ma3 Route, at KUTV Kenya, we keep informed. And also now, news updates from last night all over the world and Kenya as well. What is happening in the political scene? What are the leaders saying? And how can we put that in our day-to-day so that we know how to navigate issues that are there in our society? And then we come back to business, right? Hashtag Biashara Tuesday. Let's go. As I said earlier on, so it's Mental Health Awareness Month. I think I'm going to be asking you, how do you keep mentally healthy as you do your business, as you do work, so as you try to make money, as you do your biashara? What exactly do you do to ensure that your mental health is in check? It's very important for every one of us to be doing business where we're in a very good mental state, because I don't think we can get to have good business or have good work environments if mental health is still an issue. So as I wait for my guest here, that is Emmanuel Nguti, to come through, CEO of Jasiri Outdoors, be thinking about that. I'd love to get your feedback on all of that. And remember, right after this, the news updates, we are going to also delve much more into what I'll be touching here, and I'll be touching on here. It's all in the Daily Nation, also the Standard, the Business Daily, the Star. If you can get any of those, I'd love to hear your feedback on your thoughts on the headlines and the stories that are currently happening all around us. So right about now, let's get into it and see what has happened in your world in the past 24 hours at least. And now we begin over from Baringo, but right after this. All right, and over in Baringo County, insecurity issues and concerns. 4 more schools have been closed in Baringo after a teacher was shot dead, even after the government directive to have schools affected by insecurity reopened. Hundreds of livestock have also been driven away from the area by armed criminals, despite an ongoing security operation to disarm them.
In 1 week, 4 people have been shot dead in Baringo North, with another one laid to rest yesterday. Even as schools reopen, 4 more schools have been closed in Baringo after suspected Marakwet bandits shot dead Mr. Stanley Kemboi, a teacher at Kenyatta Primary School, before driving away over 200 herds of livestock towards Elgeyo Marakwet last week.
Jamii ya hapa Kenyatta Kobot tunapoongea leo, wote wametoroka. Ni wanaume tu wako nyumba hapa, lakini kwa sababu wanyama wote, mbuzi na ng'ombe, mbuzi ilitangulia kuchukuliwa na ng'ombe sasa wakakuja kuchukua ya mwisho. Hatuna mnyama, hata mnapoona compound hii yote huwezi kuona ng'ombe hata mmoja ama mbuzi. Ile unaweza ona ni miti na binadamu wacha.
Heavy gunfire was still heard in the area the entire night till early morning today, as tensions still remain high in the now christened the Valley of Death.
Punde tu mkitoka hapa, sisi pia tutatoka hapa kwa sababu security iko mbaya sana kwa hapa. So itabidi tu kama mmetoka pia nyinyi, sisi pia tutatoka na chakula yetu, twende kule kwa station, twende tuishi kule. In case of anything, kama kuna mgeni yeyote anakuja, tunakuja nyumbani kumkaribisha. Kwa sababu in any time hatujui mlio wa risasi itatokea wapi.
Despite the efforts by the government and multi-agency teams to restore order in the troubled regions, learning in Kenyatta, Tilingo, Ayatwa and Chemintan primary schools remains paralyzed due to banditry attacks.
Saa hii hapa tunapoongea hakuna shule. Shule yetu hapa kuna nursery inaitwa Kibot. Kibot primary school is no longer because of security. Sasa hiyo shule tumeamisha hapa. Saa hii hakuna mtu. Kenyatta primary school hakuna mtu. Kenyatta secondary hakuna mtu.
Heavily armed police have been on patrol to respond to any attacks for reasons that the suspected Marakwet bandits are hiding in the nearby bushes. As the locals continue to flee the area, youths armed with bows and arrows remained vigil with gunfire heard in the area. Baringo North MP William Cheptumo has questioned the government on its plan to curb the situation that is seemingly getting out of hand.
Why has it become difficult? Mbona imekuwa ngumu kwa serikali ya Kenya waweze tu watupatie NBR ya kutosha?
Baringo County has experienced periodic ethnic conflicts related to livestock theft and banditry attacks, which has had a huge bearing on education, often leaving pupils displaced and schools vandalized or closed altogether. Anodida, KUTV, Nairobi.
Now, over in matters of education, the novel curriculum-based curriculum currently on course in the competency-based curriculum currently on course in the country, has been victim to various challenges despite the Education Ministry's efforts to maintain a steady course. Teachers have shown faith in the execution of the new curriculum, highlighting the means of evaluating students as the only angle that requires specificity.
So without wasting time,
the Education Ministry benefited from the heaviest slice in the 2022-2023 budget, receiving 544.4 billion shillings.
And as a matter of fact, you must.
A lump sum of this being directed towards enabling the new CBC curriculum that at its teething stages has met a myriad of challenges, from insufficient classrooms to the effect of the COVID-19 virus.
This year, by the grace of God, is a year which is immediately post-COVID, and we have lost about 2 to 3 months.
Education CES Professor George Magoha has been up and about, especially during his final tenure in the office, to see it overcome the stumbling blocks.
Do not understand what education is all about. They think that there is the CBC itself is a very unique thing. Teachers have got in the continuum a series of methodology to apply.
Teachers, on the other hand, have continued backing the move, attending training to see them execute the curriculum effectively.
But when you talk about space alone is not an issue in education. What is important is the personnel handling the curriculum.
However, led by Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers KUPPET Chairman Akelo Misori, the teachers have raised concerns over how exactly they are to evaluate the students.
Need to know how they are going to do the assessment. How are we going to assess our learners, so that we are not going to use the raw scores of 90%, but we are going to say that this learner is above expectation, is average or below average. Because this system will require that nobody fails, but somebody has to acquire certain competencies.
Learners who clear with grade 6 through the new curriculum proceed on to junior secondary, not only raising the population in the schools exponentially, but also raising the question on how exactly their competency will be evaluated. Emmanuel Kutosi, KUTV.
All right, now into matters of politics. Kenya Kwanza boss Dr. William Ruto and his brigade toured Samburu, where they urged residents to back his presidency. The troop hit out at their rivals, insisting that Kenyans had the right to make their individual selection.
Your Excellency.
Si mnajua mimi nashindana na ule mzee akitendawili. Mko na hiyo habari? Sasa kwa maoni yenu, hii mashindano ni mashindano ya urembo ama ya kazi? Ni mashindano ya kazi. Na kila mtu anapimwa na ile kazi amefanya? Ama si kila mtu anapimwa na ile kazi amefanya? Si ule mtu akitendawili alikuwa prime minister? Si mimi nimekuwa deputy president? Si kila mtu amepata nafasi ya uongozi? Sasa niwaulize, tuache ya Kenya. Ya Kenya ni mingi, wacha tuongee ya Samburu. Hapa Samburu, si ndio? Mimi nikiwa vice president, si tumesukuma lami kutoka Rumuruti mpaka imefika hapa Maralal. Wa Kenya wamekataa siasa ya utapeli na ukora na udanganyifu na udikteta. Mnataka tubadilishe katiba kwanza ama uchumi kwanza?
Wakenya ndio wako na kura, Wakenya wako na nia, na Wakenya wako na njia, na watachagua serikali ya Kenya kwanza.
Na wachache watakaa kule Nairobi na kumuamulia kukaa kwa mahoteli, kwa maofisi kubwa kubwa, wanafikiri wanajua kila kitu.
All right, still on matters of politics, a tsunami has hit the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya camp as some affiliate parties stage a walkout of the coalition. Maendeleo Chap MCC, which is led by Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua, ditched the Azimio camp for the Kenya Kwanza side, citing being sidelined from the major party activities and kept in the dark on the coalition agreement.
Ahead of the August polls, twists and turns are witnessed in the political arena as parties bring back the game of hope, step and jump. As the running mate battle rocked the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya camp, another blow has hit it hard with the affiliate parties walking out of the coalition.
Na hatachezewa
kwa udongo wa Nyandarua.
Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua exited the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party and joined William Ruto-led Kenya Kwanza. In his exit statement, Mutua accused the coalition of unequal treatment of political parties within the coalition. Dr. Mutua lamented that the coalition's leadership has never given them a copy of documents signed when forming the coalition, despite writing many requests for the document. He further claimed that the coalition agreement they signed contained zoning of some counties which will ultimately lock out some of the affiliate parties from fielding candidates in some regions. On this, he said the plan would deter the growth of its party, which required representatives in the houses. Dr. Mutua also revealed that he had already inked an agreement with the Deputy President William Ruto's Kenya Kwanza, pointing out that he was influenced by the transparency and vision of the camp. He claimed that Ruto was the best person to liberate Kenyans from the yoke of poverty, a statement that raised much questions on his loyalty, faithfulness and fidelity to the Azimio camp. The walkout by the Untitled Chapter has strongly been met with criticism from the Azimio party members. The executive director of the Azimio Secretariat, Raphael Tuju, has weighed in on the exit of the party, saying that the move was to no one's surprise.
All right, so that's what's happening in both of those camps. And now in matters of justice, in the corridors of justice, Muslims clerics under the umbrella of the Kenya Muslims National Advisory Council have defended embattled High Court Judge Said Chitembwe, saying that he should not be subjected to a tribunal yet because he has not been accorded enough time to present his case to the Judiciary Service Commission. Justice Chitembwe is accused of gross misconduct in the Malindi succession case, and the commission had earlier approved his removal from office following the charges.
Twalani vikali uamuzi wa JSC, ni wa upendeleo, ni wa ubaguzi, ni wa kikabila kabila, ni wa kijamaa jamaa. Na twamshauri Mheshimiwa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta apuzilie mbali pendekezo hili. Kwanza wafungue petisheni hii, Chitembwe apeleke ushahidi wake mpaka ukamilike. Withdraw this case. Twakupa masaa 74, 72 hours.
Majaji 79 mpaka dakika hii hatujaona hata mmoja ambaye ameingizwa katika vyombo vya habari kama inavyoonekana kwenye gazeti hili. Kesi yake inafuatiliwa na kufikishwa mahali ambapo amefikishwa Justice Chitembwe.
All right, there's much more, of course, to give out this morning as updates, but that's as much as I could do for that time. Much more is over on the dailies, the Daily Nation, the Business Daily is what I have here. So if you can get access to any other so that we compare the headlines, I'd love for us to have a look at that. So we're going to also be seeing how that politics affects business into the next few weeks or even into the future. Remember, the August 9th elections are also going to take a huge chunk of the budget that has been allocated for the next financial year. So how is that going to affect also business and the cost of living? All of that is of interest to us. And Samuel Kauga Ouma, political analyst and also entrepreneur, is joining me here just about now in a few, so that we can have a look at all of these issues from politics to entrepreneurship, because he is an entrepreneur. So we're going to look at that situation of startups in the country. How can you position yourself for all of that funding that is happening? most of the major corporations, global tech firms, are setting up operation in Kenya. Google is now setting up the Africa's first product development center in Nairobi. Microsoft already did theirs last month, and much more. Amazon is also looking to set a space in Nairobi, Kenya. So all of those opportunities, how do you position yourself in this evolving technological and digitized world? So stay tuned for that. Get yourself a copy of all those dailies. Newspaper review coming to you right about now. Hashtag Biashara Tuesday. All right, welcome back. This is Biashara Tuesday, and we are here live on Facebook. Remember, at KUTV Kenya, that's where you get us, and also on that comment section. I'm going to read all the feedback, and of course on what you guys are thinking about all the things that are going to be said here this morning. I'm having this newspaper review with one interesting man, Ouma Kaoga Samuel, who is joining me here, also a businessman, political pundit, a serial entrepreneur, and a speaker as well. We're getting into the details of what exactly he does, but first I think I'd love to welcome you to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine.
How's it been?
It's been nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for the nice intro.
Yeah. And maybe you could make it better by introducing yourself just a little bit on maybe something I haven't touched, so that we can get into the dailies.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm Mr. Ouma Samuel Kaoga. I'm an entrepreneur by experience, and I'm the CEO of Blue Space LLP, and also a political enthusiast. And I will be delving much on politics and the economy, the business, and the startup perspective. Stay tuned.
All right. That is superb. Here on Facebook, remember, live KUTV Kenya. Naona Kazungu Tiabe, anasema great. Innocent Matara, you're saying you're locked in. Please do tell us where you're all locked in from, and also share your feedback on the different things we'll be taking a look at here. Very sensational headline on the Daily Nation. Would you agree?
The undesirables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a very interesting choice, title by the editor of this daily today. And I don't know, I'm looking at this list. They're saying all these people have different problems.
Yeah.
So there's some who are facing corruption charges, murder charges even, and shooting cases. Of course, we know all these names, who's been involved in what, most of them. And they are running for new, or they're continuing their term in office by vying, of course, in these coming elections. Mike Sonko, former Nairobi governor, ousted former Nairobi governor, now seeking a new term over in the coastal region. What do you make of all this? As before we, take a look at what the writer of this very interesting piece has given us. What do you make of this now?
Thank you so much. Pass 1 to chapter 6 of the Constitution, all these people should not be on the ballot. But let me give you the context of what we are talking about.
Right.
The history of our country's politics is replete with betrayal, and the clam and everything that we are seeing here emanate from that history, and that history has depraved our social mores.
Right.
And you find this is not that these people are this bad. They derive these issues from our history, our political history.
All right.
And the unfortunate thing is that this history seems to be congenital to our DNA, our social DNA. But the important thing is that there is hope. This history is corrigible, and if we as youth stand up and rise against these things, we can change the course of our history.
But you know, we can't always point back to us waiting to change some of these things. Of course, we have a constitution, as you said. According to the constitution, these people should not be vying for office. The law guides us that if you're culpable or have been found or have been impeached, actually, or found of having some of irregularities while performing your duties, right? So there's corruption charges and all of these things. Once the final verdict is uncontested, it means that you shouldn't run. And but now we're having these people going all the way to the ballot. And as you said, it's a history of politics that has been there. We've seen in the past people who gave some of the most bizarre utterances still go on to vie and win. And win, right? And win is a very important aspect there. Of course, as you mentioned, that Wiper's Machakos governor aspirant, Wavinya Ndeti, is also one of those people who are in court over 400 million case. And they've given here a glance of some of those pending criminal and graft court charges. If you have your dailies with you, you can see that on page 12. A very good list there of these MPs, governors and former members of parliament who have been involved in very many different things. How can we prevent them from vying if at the moment the IEBC, all the regulatory bodies, EACC have nothing to say?
Nice, that's a very nice question. First and foremost, we must recognize that our politics is tribal. Our politics is made up of chronism and who do you know, and what's your muscle, your financial muscle, and political clout. And it doesn't matter who you are, provided you command a constituency, you have resources, and you have whatever it has. And the most unfortunate thing is that politics is about clout. Right. It doesn't matter whether it's good clout or bad clout.
I think all publicity is good publicity.
But it's unfortunate that in a Kenyan and far much African context, we find much favor in negative publicity, and we glorify these people who have done unfortunate things before us, and we go ahead and elect them.
Right. So I think maybe at that point, we could say that, as you had mentioned earlier, then the role is that we shouldn't vote these people.
Yeah, we
shouldn't vote these people in. However, that is far much, that's a very utopian thinking, because if you saw the rally that former Governor Mike Sonko put up over in the coast,
it was massive.
Yeah, right?
It was massive.
The turnout was huge. So how do we not vote them if already, this is where we get to that point, that situation where people are like, I don't have to vote then, because clearly the system is all rigged.
Yeah, the system is all rigged, but the problem is with the people. We are the ones who give mandate to this leader to take control of our institutions and to govern us. So it should start with us. We should, through universal suffrage, we should tell these people no. Then another thing, the judiciary should act in the best interest of the country.
Right.
Yeah, they should. But we have institutions that can help us. The DPP and the EACC. They do the investigation, and we have innumerable inconcluded cases.
Right.
And it's so unfortunate that what's happening in our country. Monies are getting lost. There's impropriety and such issues, but there's nothing happening. But at the end of the day, we, the people, through our mandate, we can say it's a no.
Right.
And,
so
I ask our people that on 9th of August, they do that through universal suffrage.
Right. Because, if we can't do that, then what's the point of having a constitution? If people are violating the constitution and we can't use our democratic right to act according to the constitution and get them off from office or bar them from ascending to power again, I don't know how much more power can be handed over to a citizen more than that ability to vote these people out. So keep that in mind, right? So that's what is here on the Daily Nation, the undesirables. You can read that whole piece for yourself if you're at home and get to take a look at that. Right at the bottom of the front page of the Daily Nation, Ruto is gaining and Raila is paining. One man's gain, it looks like it's another man's pain. And Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua is one of those people who have contributed to this gain and pain situation. He's defected from the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party, as it's now called, over to the Kenya Kwanza, headed by the DP. And of course, at the moment also there are some jitters over in the Azimio la Umoja side, where it is likely, or it's looking like more parties are going to defect, or according to statements made by Governor Alfred Mutua, saying that 5 parties or more are expected to join him over to the side of Kenya Kwanza Alliance. And we are also, as you know, as that also is ongoing, there's that deputy president debacle that is all over, that is going for both sides. And I know that the Azimio la Umoja side is currently doing interviews over at is Serena? I think it's Serena, right? And it is likely, or it's speculated, that former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka might not attend his interview that is being conducted for the running mate of the flag bearer of this coalition, Raila Odinga. Is Azimio la Umoja getting to Azimio la, wanasema utengano? Moja ni nguvu, utengano. Azimio la utengano. What is happening on this camp, you will say?
Okay, thank you so much. Let me start with the root again, Raila Pain. You know, politics is like zero-sum game. We call it a zero-sum game. If one gains, the other one loses. But, you know, Kenya, we derive elation from unnecessary issues. You know, like in the US, once a celebrity does anything, everybody is on his neck. It's the same in Kenya. Once a politician does anything small, we are on their heads. But let me put
we are treating politicians as celebrities in Kenya.
But let me put it to perspective. It does matter which clout do you have, which clout do you control, because sometimes you find there's some unnecessary movements that bring no value, because at the end of the day, politics is about number. Ask yourself, as they move, because we'll expect this more as you move closer to the election.
Right.
What are you bringing on the table? Because most of our politicians use this as a business tool. Okay, they bring a pseudo constituency. They say that they bring an anecdotal constituency that doesn't exist. Then they go sell it out and do business. But at the end of the day, what's important is what constituency do you control? At the end of the day, our politics is controlled by regional talismans. You find that there are regional bigwigs that control these regions. And I'll speak without doubt that Kalonzo Musyoka is the Lower Eastern talisman. It doesn't matter
what side he goes to, who he supports.
So at the end of the day,
3.2 million votes.
If you see where Kalonzo will go, is where the Kamba nation will go. But these other fringe party theatrics are there to waste our time. Let me touch something on the deputy president search. It's so unfortunate. You know, the search for deputy president should not be this convoluted and done in an haphazard way. The way these people are doing it. In
they're quoting this deputy president or the running mate position. They're making it so flowery this time.
It's so unfortunate, because at the end of the day, politics is controlled by numbers. You should tell it's obvious, you know, who controls such
who controls the biggest
numbers and but another thing, let me bring it to context. The second term of Jubilee government gave us a bad precedent on the presidency, and because it was bogged by a necessary and very bad relationship between the president and his deputy, and maybe these formations derive this criteria from what they saw, and now it's not about numbers. It transcends to this party simpatico. Yes, you bring your numbers, but do we share our values to bring amity post-election and prosperity?
So you're saying we have actually evolved in how
we've evolved,
politics is done?
Yeah. Change is inevitable. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Change is inevitable. And I think it's so unfortunate, the theatrics, the panel, because they know what's numbers. It's a puzzled way of doing it, because
now a question I will ask, since we are on that controlling of numbers, and also it's really unfortunate that during elections we turn citizens into numbers. I don't think I'm very comfortable with how politicians are able to do that. Like I have this guy has 3.2 million. It's like I'm Richard. I need to be considered as a citizen. However, away from that, I digress. The Mount Kenya region, which has been really quoted or has been speculated to bring out the running mate on both sides of these camps, the Kenya Kwanza and the Azimio la Umoja. Should we get to a point where one region, is that important in how we are doing our elections? Do you feel like that will also evolve at some point, or it doesn't really matter, it's convoluted as well?
Yeah, it's not convoluted because at the end of the day, politics is not just about numbers. It's about resources. Yeah, you find that people from Mount Kenya, they have numbers of the nation. You find like people like Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta doesn't have the charisma that Raila and Ruto possess, but he has resources to counter what those people are doing. So at the end of the day, it's beyond the numbers you're bringing. Do you have the financial resources, muscle?
Right.
Okay, because it's through financial that you can get the things that you want. It's through financial that you can have your ways. Yeah, so these people, they have the numbers and they have the resources. So it will take a long time for us to dislodge the status quo.
All right.
Yeah.
That is a very interesting take there. Yeah. So I'll never have thought about, so I'll be thinking about that for
another thing about let me in 1 minute. And I'm not advocating for any person to be picked as the deputy for either of the formation. But let me say this without any circumlocution, that of all the people that are gunning for the deputy presidency post, there's only Kalonzo Musyoka that has the most acumen and an unrivaled stature for that position, because he has a reliable constituency, he has a tested constituency which has delivered in the past, and no other politician in that caliber has quite the cachet of Kalonzo Musyoka.
Right.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't say Martha Karua has anything close to what Kalonzo is proposing, because according to Martha Karua, she is the best in exactly what you're saying. She says that what she controls is much more powerful than what Kalonzo does.
Nice, thank you so much. I'll put Sally and Martha Karua in the same WhatsApp group because these are people that they don't have, they might be having the muscle, but not the requisite financial muscle to mount a presidential election. Number two, these are people that have been, except for Martha Karua, I'll say this much for Musalia. Musalia has been relying on the big boys' cocktail for so long. Yeah, it is not charismatic, and he lacks the mettle to carve his own political path.
Okay.
The lawyers have the numbers.
But he cannot chart his own political path regardless.
He cannot rally them in one cause and put their votes in one packet. Politics about interest.
Right.
Yeah, what are we getting at what point and what time? So for Mudavadi, that's the problem. For Martha Karua, yeah, she's an iron lady. She has what it takes, but show me his base.
Right.
Which base does he control? Yeah, unless unless maybe the community, if the community rally behind her, that's a tick for.
Maybe a last part, as we are trying to take a look at those different regions, as you said, who controls where and what kind of constituency can they bring it? Is it reliable? In that interview process that is currently happening in the Azimio side, Senator Gideon Moi, who's supposed to also have appeared before this Azimio Council for the interview, said he will not appear because he has decided that he's going to support Kalonzo Musyoka, right? So do you feel like Senator Gideon Moi also does have any political muscle or any control that can have his voice, make sense in either side of the camp?
Yeah, that's a nice question. Gideon Moi is a political power in the country.
Is he?
Moi name is a political power. One, we might say that he doesn't have any tangible base, tangible number, but he has resources that can bring those numbers. He has resources that can substitute the numbers, and he use somebody else via his resources to bring what he wants on board.
Right, of course, definitely. So that
through these resources, you can buy support. Yeah, you can get support.
And as you said, it's also beyond numbers. What kind of numbers, what is your political mass, or what influence do you have?
What influence do you have?
Right, and I'm sure that his father did make a very good head start there.
Let me echo from Trump. Trump was a political greenhorn, and he just came. He didn't have any political base of his own, but he had resources, and he used his resources to get what he wanted,
and he did it.
He did it.
And he did it.
Then another thing, let me say that apart from Martha Karua, Musalia Mudavadi, and Kalonzo Musyoka, all others who are slated for deputy president positions and offices, yeah, they don't add. They can't add any viable value to the presidential ticket, but they add adjunct. They are adjunct to the political formation, and they show up numbers to win the election. This will be very closest election. Yeah, it will be divisive as we move on. But
and people are getting really jumpy. People are getting really jumpy.
That's politics.
That's politics for you.
That's politics.
All right. Now, as we move from politics, people can take a look at all of that in the.
Let me. Under 1 minute,
okay.
Let me echo what Algo said in his concession speech in 2000. And you know, 2000 election in the US is one of the most decisive and very divisive. It was recalled 3 times. It was recalled for Bush, then nullified again, called for Algo, nullified until Bush was called and went for Supreme Court, and that's happened. And he said something in his concession speech, okay, that let nobody see this as a weakness, okay? The strength of a democracy is shown clearly in difficult situations. And now it's a prudent time for us to know that what brings us together is greater than what divides us.
Right.
And as a people, let us shun the politics of deceit, politics anchored on ethnicity, and politics that rides on classism to divide our people, because we don't want to incinerate our country. We have a dark history.
Okay.
And we as the youth, we can do that.
We can do something.
Yeah,
can do something about
yeah.
it. If you have a voter's card, get out there on August 9th, vote all of them out, and then vote people who can make a difference. Away from that, more politics on Thursday, on Throwback Thursday, asubuhi pale na Ojwang Mariam pale atakuchambulia kabisa mambo hayo. Kijana yule amebobea sana na anakuwa na very interesting guests who also are very well versed in matters of politics, just like we are here this morning. So a continuation of that, ensure you're tuning in to KUTV Rise Today on Thursday. This week, all eyes are members of Parliament as the National Assembly is looking to, they're still debating the finance bill of 2022, and it's currently threatening to increase the cost of living. And this is because of the charging of VAT on essential goods, and this is going to raise the cost of living beyond Kenya's reach. Currently, the shilling is suffering, so I'll be taking a look at how that is. I think last week we were at 116 to 1 greenback, to 1 USD. So, and the scarcity of the dollar is also something else that we have to look at. As the shilling weakens, the dollar is getting scarce, which means imports are getting way expensive and all of that, and which will trickle down to the common mwananchi. There's an additional 50.5 billion that the National Treasury is seeking to raise through VAT and more taxation into common household items. Beer, I said common household items and I started with beer. Common household items plus beer, cosmetic and beauty products, and all of those other things. Consumers and manufacturers of these goods have protested the adjustment of these taxes, and I see the LSK is petitioning Parliament on some of these tax proposals. Kenya has never raised the amount of money in the finance bill for more than 15 billion. So for the first time, we're seeing the government or the National Treasury, the government through the National Treasury, seeking 50.5 billion additional money, right? And this is going to be spent, most of this money is going to be spent towards paying recurrent expenditures and paying out debts, and then only 700 is being allocated towards development expenditure. So even if we're paying more taxes, we're not going to be seeing more developments. We're giving more taxes, the cost of living is going high, people are going to be losing jobs, and I'm seeing here Ukur Yatani is smiling as he presents this to National Assembly Finance Committee Chairperson Gladys Wanga. I don't think there's anything funny in that briefcase that he's holding, but good for him. How can we get the government to not impose more taxes on us? Do we leave this to LSK and then just wait? You know, we've gotten to a point of extreme resilience where Kenyans have been pushed beyond the limits. Like we've gotten to a point where like, momia sana hata sina nguvu ya kucomplain. 50.5 billion. Tutafanyaje?
Okay, thank you so much. Our parliament has a bad history and is strewn with fight for their own interest at the expense of the people's interest. And it's so unfortunate. The interest of the people is canvassed in parliament. And it's so unfortunate that most of us don't take part in politics, but it's through politics that our interest is sorted. It's only through the parliament, because the parliament has the latitude to canvass issues of national interest, issues that are affecting the normal mwananchi, and it's only through the parliament that can be done.
Right.
At the end of the day, we are heading towards an election, and maybe they can countermand what the government wants for the interest of the people, not because of the people, but because of the election
that is coming up. So right now, parliamentarians are debating the finance bill, and one eye is on the finance bill, and the other eye is on elections. And here, according to what has been written in yesterday's Daily Nation, and I'm looking at the numbers here, let me just say the numbers before I come to what I think parliamentarians are thinking about. 13,403, the excise duty in shillings that is going to be charged on motorcycles. So the border industry, which has recently been slapped with a compulsory third-party insurance and also extra regulations, is going to see an increase in the excise duty that is charged in the importation of motorcycles. And this is a very funny trickle-down process, because once motorcycles become expensive to import, it means that more Kenyans will prefer to use matatus. Right?
Yeah.
If you have more matatus on the road, we have more traffic on the road.
Yeah.
We have less people who were doing, because matatu industry, border industry is a very huge industry. So if we start there, that trickles down. Pole too, tunaingia traffic situation, we waste fuel, we have a shortage of fuel, and all of that business that is happening. So 50 billion, as I said, amount that the Treasury CS is seeking to raise from Kenyans. 3.3 trillion, the budget for the next financial year. All of this, we are saying that parliamentarians are likely to maybe reject this for the interest of getting Kenyans to vote for them. Right. That's what you.
Yeah.
That's what you are. That's the direction you are headed.
And history supports me.
Does it?
Yeah. History.
So So it is possible that because how I was thinking about it is they might just pass it so that they go on with their business. But if we take a look from the direction of them trying to get more votes, so should we then blame them for helping us as they try to help themselves at that point? If they reject this bill for the interest of them getting in favor with the common mwananchi, but we know that is for their own self-interest. How does that catch-22 situation look like?
Oh, thank you so much. Politics is a game of expediency, and it doesn't matter what they've done in the past. What they're going to do now will be consequential as we head to election, because number one, Kenyans are going through tough times, and the knock-on effect of these issues are so dear to our country, because once the taxes are raised, disposable income tends to zero in most families, and the families ask people because of they cannot raise more money to pay them, and it's a very tough situation. So what we have is the parliament to dismiss this thing, whether for their interest or not. At the end of the day, it's the Mwananchi will win.
Mwananchi will have to win. So hopefully that is what happens over in Parliament this week. So we'll be keeping our eyes on that, and then by next week we'll be back with that. On the Business Daily, maybe real quick, as we try, I'm seeing here it's 8:05 in the morning, and much more conversation is happening. Remember, there's that conversation on the digitization of the Kenyatta University Library Services that is coming up real quick. So make sure you're tuning in for that, and how you can access some of those journals, resources, and books that are there over at the Kenyatta University Library. So on the Business Daily, they're saying that as we are looking at so many things, the cost of living is going high. Land and city homes around the outskirts of Nairobi also pay in Endaju.
It's appreciating.
Right. Is that good for us? Is that good for development?
Depends from which angle are you looking at it. But these are issues that are affected by demand and supply. It doesn't matter whether it's good or not. Demand and supply controls it. And you know, Nairobi has seen surge of people from upcountry who come to look for employment which doesn't exist anywhere, and also the expatriates who come in with big money and investors who come in with big money. And you know, the African market, we are going to discuss this in business, the African market is the biggest in the world, and other markets are saturating because of lacking young population and such things. So big investors are coming, big firms are coming to Kenya and Africa because of the market that
is being offered by the young population.
Young population, and I'm convinced that Africa will churn the fourth revolution. But are we ready for it as the youth? Are we ready to seize the moment?
Are we ready for? Are we ready for that moment? I ask it out there for anyone who's ready to get us. But in that process of being ready, Kenyan startups are getting funding, so that's a good thing to look at. How will you say, what is contributing to this boom in the side of startups?
Yeah, thank you so much. And it's so unfortunate that these resources come from the West. And we don't have a Silicon Valley of our own as a country. And you know, number one, the world today is not about looking, jobs are scarce, and people look up to the government to offer real-time job, but the government has failed. And it's only entrepreneurs with golden touch, entrepreneurs who create innumerable jobs and touch most lives that win at the end of the day. But let me come to startups. The venture capitals are coming up, and they're sprouting all over Africa. But most of them are financed by people in the West. But the world today, as a people, the world today need people with immense fecundity. People can come up with idea. People can the world today doesn't need innovation. People want overhaul, from the status quo, M-Pesa came and did what? Overall the way things were being done,
the finance sector is all different.
The electric car will come to
also revolutionize
that. So as a people, and there's a lot which is doing well in outside country that has not been tapped here in Africa. And as young people, if we can get exposed, if we can read more about this and bring real-time solution to our people, we'll have it. And there are resources around people, but are we ready?
Are we ready to do it?
Because we are hypnotized by issues of no interest. Our mind is bogged in politics. Our mind is hallucinating in issues of no interest. But if we keep our eyes trailed in issues, dynamic issues that define our define our period as people, will have a kill.
Nice. That's good, because here I'm seeing in that report, according to the report, finance sector drew the largest volumes, 23% of the venture capitalists in the country this period, and this is attributed to the rise in fintech. So if you are innovating currently, now you need someone out there who's really good at this, ensure you're looking towards fintech, because with traditional banks which were closed during the pandemic, many people are now turning to mobile money, and digital banking is becoming quite a thing. Cross-border, cross-platform, all of that is happening in real time. So ensure that kama unaweza innovation towards that side, you will be very well rewarded. Kenyan startups received the 4th largest share of venture capital funds by volume in the year 2021. And I think in Africa, Kenya is only right behind Nigeria and South Africa. So if we can continue innovating, especially in the areas of the internet and the Internet of Things, we'll be placing ourselves in a good position. As Samuel Ouma amesema hapa hivi that the 4th revolution should come from Africa. We have a young population, the internet is all over around us. I think there's no reason we shouldn't.
No reason at all.
Okay.
And maybe to add something, most tech is coming on very fast, and most everything is going in the internet. And now the future will need more cyber security expert. So that's a field, minefield that we should look into, because in the future it will offer massive opportunities.
Let's read Albert Einstein's quote at the back of the Business Daily. Tusikia anasemaje, and he'll have you read us. It's just right at the back. If you could flip the Business Daily here, right at the back of the Business Daily, you can get the quote there by Albert Einstein, I think this morning. So there at the bottom, just right there. So I'm gonna have you read it over on that camera, and tell us, what does Albert Einstein say? Ambia watu wetu.
don't listen to the people as the answer. Listen to the person who has the questions.
Don't listen to the people who have the answers.
Yeah.
Listen to the people who have the questions. And the question I'm asking you this morning, how are you doing mentally? Mental Health Awareness Month, May 2022. How are you doing mentally? And how do you ensure that your mental health is in check as you do business and as you do work? So ensure you're interacting with me on social media platforms at KUTV Kenya, at Richard_Kenya. That's where I'll be getting your feedback. But that was the newspaper review section. So ensure unatuambia pia, what do you think about the headlines? Any other important point that you picked up from here, or anything that you felt we said that you disagree with? I'd love to hear that and also give you my feedback, right? Any last words that you would like to say? I see time is way not on our side. So your last remarks as an entrepreneur, as a political analyst, just to Kenyans on that camera.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll do it in under 1 minute. And each generation discovered its mandate and fulfilled it, betrayed it or fulfilled it. And the way they did it can be debated. Therefore, we as a people today, the youth of today, we have a mandate in this election and also in the business sector. Let us identify our mandate and fulfill it with relative opacity.
Okay. Let us identify our mandate. Think about that as I go for this break. Hashtag Biashara Tuesday, still on air.
Kenya kuna aina tofauti za hali ya anga ambazo huboresha au kuwa changamoto kwa wakazi wa eneo. Kaunti ya Makueni imeibuka kuwa bora katika masuala ya kilimo licha ya hali ya kiangazi.
Maembe huwa tunazalisha nyingi, lakini mtambo kuna ile capacity ambapo hawezi pitisha na hatuwezi chukua maembe yote. In fact tunakuta tunachukua 5-6%.
Kaunti hii imejikakamua kwa udi na uvumba kutegua kitendawili. Ukambani kuna ukame.
Tambo maji ilikuwa ngumu kupata kiasi, kwa sababu kama ni pale kwa mto inapita tu inaenda. Lakini sasa hii kama imesimamishwa itakuwa rahisi kwetu.
Basi kikosi cha Boresha Kilimo kilitangamana na wakulima mbalimbali kuandaa Makueni County Edition.
Na wahimiza wana Makueni na Wakenya wote kwa jumla kuitazama kipindi cha Boresha Kilimo kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 6:30.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
The percentage in which government is giving opportunities to this specific type of groups under the AGPO, like what percentage has the government given?
No, but like I said, you see, when a budget is done for every year, every ministry will be able to place their budget for it. But whatever is given to them, 30% of the budget for that ministry is dedicated to AGPO. 30%. So if let's assume, for instance, that a ministry is given 2 billion, for instance. Now, 30% of 2 billion would be about 600,000? 600 million. That will be dedicated to AGPO. And therefore, when you go to a ministry, as a young person, as a person living with disability, 600 million is actually meant for you.
This is The Agenda with Bentura Komboka and Colonel Retired Cyrus Oguna.
Tunakula usiku tuachane na break kwanza tuende lunch chapo kama mokimo
Rasha piga shada kuna giza zikinai tujinai siweke story kata maji pia shada liko na sio nikosa msupo si stress kama rende kisha basi nipe najua ni
Mama, big up, brother, you are a deliver, big up, sis, big up, shows, mama, big up, oh yeah, wase wote, okay, my principal, big up. And money me okoka, whatever me say no, I know, I know, oh, dancing me shika mashinani, kila choche kila mtaani, dancing na leta burudani.
This is Student
siku hiyo yenye furaha ajabu, machungu yote yatakwisha, mambo yote yatakuwa ni mapya. Tukutane paradiso, tukutane enzini mbinguni, baada ya dhiki za hapa ulimwenguni tukutane.
Safina inang'oa nanga sasa hivi. Hivi sasa ni saa 2 Ijumaa usiku badala ya saa 3 kamili juu ya alama, due to public demand. Ungana nami Albanas Mwania, nahodha wa Safina Show, nikutoe ng'ambo ya pili hadi ufuoni. Safina Show, sauti ya matumaini.
Natamani kufika pale, mji mzuri ajabu wapendeza, hakuna mfano wa mazuri yajayo, jitahidi ufike mbinguni juu. Siku yaja tutasahau yale yote yanayotuhuzunisha, tumeahidiwa na Mungu.
All right, welcome back to Biashara Tuesday, Kenyatta University Television Station. And also here we have Kenyatta University Library Services. I think it's important that we mention we are both coming from the same institution, right? So as we are going to have this conversation on the digitization of library services, they have a lot of things that are up there for you. So we're going to have a brief or a detailed rundown of all of these things. The 21st century, of course, information management centers are relying heavily on ICT to acquire, process, and avail information to everyone. So Kenyatta University Library has now adopted cutting-edge technology, which I'm seeing here, to satisfy everyone who, irrespective of distance and time, can be able to access most of these resources. So I'm having a conversation with the people who are responsible for this digitization, this cutting-edge technology that is being infused within all the resources that are there in this library. So we're getting into that conversation. If you have any question, especially wale watu ambao wanataka ku access some of these resources, the journals and all of that, do send that on social media, research papers, all of that material, resources, educational material that you'd like to access. This is the time to listen in keenly on how you can do that. But first, before I get into that rabbit hole, let's have a brief introduction of the gentleman I have with me here in studio. And I think I'll begin with you, sir. Maybe tell us your role over at the Kenyatta University Library and also your name as well.
My name is David Mutiso. I'm an electronic resources librarian. I mainly deal with online platform, but that does not limit me in dealing with other functions of the library. Mainly, the library deals with both the print and electronic media. But now, due to changes in and advances in technology, and the fact that we have been having challenges of COVID, there's a move towards online access of information, both within the university and outside the university. So the library have acquired softwares to enable this, to facilitate this. And on daily basis, we are always training our users, the user population of Kenyatta University, on how to access information that is seated within the library, but also overseas. We call it offshore libraries. It's accessible.
Okay, that is David. And next to David here, also from the Kenyatta University Library, are you also on the technology side?
I am Samuel Mudhami, a librarian in charge of research and special collections. Some of the special collections relate to the digital as well as the print. So that's my role.
When you say special collections, what is special with these collections?
Like those online resources, as well as the resources generated within Kenyatta University, like thesis. So all those resources plus what we used to call the Africana. Resources about Africa, written by African or about Africa.
All right.
So all those resources and publications done by KU staff and students, they are within us. And primarily I handle postgraduate students and staff of Kenyatta University.
All right. Let me maybe begin again from you as we go back. They call it the postmodern library. What is the postmodern in the library been? Is it past the modern? What kind of technology maybe or resources make it called as the famous postmodern library of Kenyatta University?
I think, and why we are here today is to showcase what the library can offer to its patrons. And the postmodern library has provided the resources ahead of time. Some of the libraries have been using manual systems, but the postmodern library has been offering services that probably in this part of the world, they could only be found outside Africa or in South Africa and maybe the Northern African countries.
All right. Of course, offering that ahead of time. Now back to you, sir. Maybe why is it important that we move from what you said, offering manual access to all of these resources and taking them online? How would you say that is important for us at the moment and the university in general as well?
Okay. Due to increase of student population, and the fact that universities cannot accommodate all the students in the programs like it used to be, there have been a demand to virtualize all the services of the library to an extent that one can get information when you are seated at home. And that's where the idea of postmodern was conceived, to the extent that the user gets the information at its location without necessarily visiting the library. In addition, the idea of automating all the functions of the library to an extent that we would say we are a paperless institution, because all the information is available, whether you are within the university or outside the university. If you go to most universities abroad, you'll find that they have more students off campus than we have in developing countries. And now we are almost coming to that. And this has been propelled by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Right.
It has necessitated this. It has been a driver to this. So the library makes full use of online platforms to give information to its users.
Okay.
Even this afternoon, we have an online program for School of Continuing Education programs. And we are talking to these students on how to access information right from their home. And you find somebody even talking to somebody or even accessing information when you are traveling or when you are in your bedroom. And you are able to use all the online platforms to reach them, to chat with them, because we also have chat platforms. But most of all, the information that we have subscribed to, we use an online platform to authenticate them, because if it is left in the open domain, everybody would be able to access, and it is commercial in nature to the extent that the publisher would only wish, they only want the information to be accessed by the subscriber. So through use of online platforms, we have one very good platform which is sourced from India called Remote XS, which has brought together over 80 plus online databases with full text information, cutting across all the programs of the university. And that is accessible to both staff and the students of the university.
All right. So maybe now we'll get into all of these technologies and the platforms that you have had, and I'll maybe take it back to you, sir, in these systems. Let's start with the library website. What can we find in the library website in general, and what kind of updates do you do there? Can we get the special collections as well on the website, and when was this started?
The library website is anchored on the library information management system, and it captures the details of the library for the sake of our users and all the users in the university and outside. And just like any institutional website, it gives the details to the clients that they can get all the information they need regarding the library. But more importantly, I said it is anchored on the library information management system called Koha.
Okay.
So
Koha is where the maktaba.ke.
Yes, ac.ke.
Yeah.
So that's where it is anchored. And the library information management system is the core that carries so many other things, including the laptop registration. Because initially we used to have challenges of students losing laptops in the library because there was no way of tracking.
Right. I remember that time getting out of the Kenyatta University Library, you had to first get in and write your serial number by hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now your laptop and yourself, they are linked within Koha, the library information management system.
Right.
But Koha is bigger than that. It is available in modules, and it's an open source software. Meaning that you only need to install and customize. Yes, there's no other costs apart from maybe upgrades if there are other upgrades. And the modules, they help us now to run both our staff interface as well as the users.
All right.
Online. So when we get a new book, we enter the details of the book. When we get new users, we register them and we pull the data from admissions because they are admitted through the ICT systems, and you can pull that data and because we are integrated.
Nice.
Now, the way we manage our users, when one is borrowing, it is automated. The student's card is smart. So all that is done in Koha. So the student management, the cataloging, the putting of the details of the materials into the system. So that you link the users and the materials.
This comes really handy now that the students' card was also made smart.
Yes.
I think 2 or 3 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this becomes very critical, and then the way the system is calibrated, anytime you borrow a material, another student cannot borrow using your card, because you'll instantly get an alert, an email alert,
that someone is trying to use your card.
Yes, so that you come immediately, and we can use the other technologies like the CCTVs to know who was this using another person's card.
Yeah.
And we can zero in on the image.
Reduce those chances of where students came to clear and then anambiwa, hey, you have 5 books.
Exactly.
All right.
Yes.
Now, sir, if I can get back to you, journals. The mortality rate and the limited accessibility of Kenyatta University journals, how is there a system in this process of making things virtual and digital? Is there a system for accessing some of these journals, and how many? How wide is the resource?
To start with, usually we have 2 modes of access of journals. We have the commercial and open source, and it has been very difficult for most researchers to publish, mostly in commercial journals, because they are very expensive. And so we have the open access system, or mode of access of information, which is actually a movement, a global movement, and it has come up with a publishing platform called Open Journals System. It's one of them. There are over 25,000 journals within that system at global level. And so the advantage of OJS, which was brought on board by Kenyatta University through the library initiative, was to fill in the gap which is left by commercial publishers, so that we can help upcoming researchers in sharing their research information to the world. The way OGS operates is that it is a platform for publishing. To the extent that an author can upload his work, which goes now to the editorial manager, of course with a group of editors, to go through the work, to take it through a process called peer review. For instance, in the KU, we have 5 journals already.
Right. And these are from different
schools.
Yeah.
And these journals are managed by faculty from these schools. Of course, the library comes in handy in managing the platform and assist them, giving them a technical backup. And usually what happens is that the authors usually submit through an editorial manager. They submit their manuscripts, then the manuscripts are taken through a peer review process by the editors. And then if they find them suitable for publishing, or possibly for editing it again, it is the manuscript is taken back to the author to do changes, and then finally when it's accepted to be shared with the scholarly community, it is published and hosted online. And so that has helped our students and faculty so much
to get access
to publish.
To
publish, reason being that from 2017 the Commission for University Education made it mandatory for postgraduate students to publish articles before they graduate. Those ones who are undertaking master's program, they have to publish 1 article in a peer-reviewed journal, and those ones who are doing their PhD, 2 articles in a peer-reviewed journal. And so it has been difficult for them to do that. In addition, it takes quite a long time to be published in the commercial publishers, or the so-called high-impact journals. It can take even up to a year if you are lucky to be published.
If you're lucky enough.
Yes. So
for them to even take a look at it.
OJS has come to fill in that gap, and they are doing very well. Students and staff are uploading manuscripts, and we are hoping that as it becomes popular, we'll get other authors across the region to also, because it's not for Kenyatta University, other authors across the region to also publish.
All right. Now,
so that you can get a wider readership.
Right. So this is open to anyone who's even outside Kenyatta University.
Yes.
A peer-reviewed journal that they can access.
Yes.
Right. So how do they access it remotely? Because I'm sure it's something that, of course, they can do. How do you access it? What do you require for you to maybe submit here and also publish if you're not part of this Kenyatta University community? I don't know if you want to pick it up.
If I can weigh in on the matter, actually, there's a word you said. Some of the print journals that used to be done locally, there was high mortality rate.
Yes.
You publish maybe 3 issues, then you go under.
It's done.
So this filled the gap. And apart from that, it created visibility, both for those doing the papers and for the institution.
All right.
Now, the access issue, the platform David mentioned, is about open journal system. The open word
is already obvious.
Means that these are resources that are freely accessible online. So the library just provides that platform, but the quality control is done by the relevant school. They have an editorial team for each journal because these are quality control issues. So we only get the final product and we make it available. Just like the way you are doing it here now. You are getting our content and putting it on air.
All right.
The library puts that on air. And this is an emerging role for libraries as publishing platforms. Yes, because just like we are getting journals through subscription from other publishers out there, they can also consume something from this part of the world.
All right, and now you mentioned 5 schools. I know Kenyatta University has so many other schools. Which are these 5 schools and why are they not more than 5?
Starting a journal is not very easy because of the rigorousness of the process. Because it's one thing getting the manuscripts from authors, but the rigorousness of the process for quality control is very tedious.
Intense.
Yes, because there is the first receipt of the manuscript, assessment, originality, and it has to go through plagiarism checks before you even consider the paper. There are those you trash immediately, and I know it also happens in this because this a media. You get a lot of
applications,
content, a lot of content, but only a few pass the cut.
Pass through. Right.
So through that rigorousness, you have to control the process.
And this OJS, I'm interested, since you are keen on research, how has it boosted research in that direction?
It is one of the things that we sensitize our users on, that they can also get content because a lot of the people who publish are local.
All right, and now this Kenyatta University journal, which system which was created, as we've had 5 schools from Kenyatta University, 5 journals from 5 schools. So make sure that you are checking that out. I think I can say out the link, which is journals.ku.ac.ke. So I think people should be checking it out as we go on, right?
Yes, but even when they go through Maktaba, they will see them. One, there is Musigi Journal. It is under the School of Education. Then there is Chemichemi.
Chemichemi.
Humanities and Social Sciences.
Right.
We have one from SPAS.
East African Medical and Research.
Yes, that is
from SPAS.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, and
there's 2 more.
One from Fine Art.
There is one from Fine Art. So there are 5.
2 from another one from SPAS also.
Yes,
SPAS has 2 journals.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
SPAS has 2 journals.
Yes.
Also, now since you already picked it up,
yes.
There's user instructions and videos as well, training videos. How can people get those?
They are within the OJS on how to either use it or even for the people who are running the system, how they can learn how it works. Yes.
Now there's the institutional repository.
Yes.
How different is it, and what is it about? I know it uses DSpace, which I might not be well versed in, so I think I'll let you explain more on that. Yes. And I think also how it does contribute to research. Institutional repository.
Yes. Now, there are three things. What we are discussing are three things. We are discussing the Library Management Information System, the Library MIS, which is a core, run through a software called core. Then we have got the journal platform, which is OJS, and then a database management software called DSpace. But of course, we call it institutional repository. Okay. The core function of the library is to make information accessible in all modes of access. First, to manage the information through the library management information system, and then to use OJS and DSpace to disseminate the information. Now, DSpace is actually a database management platform. The role of DSpace or institutional repository of Kenyatta University is to assemble knowledge that has been created by Kenyatta University community, both the staff and students. So it's a knowledge database, or KU. It archives all information, knowledge that has been generated. And that includes PhD thesis, master's thesis, undergraduate projects, books and book chapters, all that by staff and students from out there. So what happens with the the staff who are doing digitalization is that they harvest any information, any piece of information that has been authored by somebody coming from Kenyatta University. Any information authored by somebody who is associated with the KU, and they run a program and harvesting data that is ending with a domain name .ku.ac.ke, wherever it is, whether within Kenyatta University or out there. And then it is hosted, either full text or abstract. It is hosted in the institutional repository. The institutional repository is a scholarly platform. Most universities and almost all universities across the world have institutional repositories which avail information on open access mode. And so they are freely available. You don't need to log in. You don't need to be within KU. You only need to use a search engine to discover, and depending on what you are searching on, to discover the content. So OJS, is the institutional repository actually markets or shares knowledge that has been created from Kenyatta University to the global community.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So I also know that in DSpace, in that DSpace software, is where we get the Kenya Education Research Database. Maybe you can speak about that. And I know that part of research is looking at past papers. What has been done. I know Kenyatta University students are always looking at that. Maybe I think we can finish on past papers, and then I think I'll hand over the education research database to them. Past papers, are they also open source, and can anyone, even someone who's not in KU who wants to know about all of this, get access to this?
The past papers and the repository, they run on DSpace application. Now the past papers are actually a database of past exams that have been tackled by students in Kenyatta University. It runs on DSpace. Previously, it used to run on a software called Greystone. But we found it fit to also have it run on DSpace. To access past papers, you need to log in. You need to be authenticated. And so you need to be associated with the Kenyatta University, whether a student or staff. So anybody out there cannot be able to
access that.
To access this the exam bank, because you have to log in through another platform to access and it runs on DSpace again.
Okay. What else runs on DSpace before we move to education research database?
The institutional, the thesis and dissertation database run on DSpace. Past exam bank run on DSpace. Kenya Education Research database runs on DSpace, and then there's another database for tourism management, which also runs on DSpace.
Right. Why do you have tourism crisis management information? How is that relevant, and how is it being used?
And actually, that's an externally funded program which the library has assisted. And what they have done is that we have harvested data, mostly documents on tourism management issues, and hosted them for the ministry concerned with the tourism, hosted them to that database, and they are available and discoverable by anybody, even outside Kenyatta University.
All right. So
Yes.
this is done in conjunction with the Ministry of Tourism.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a very good project. I don't think I've had this in any other institution.
It was sponsored externally. Same with the one on education by Ministry of Education. So the KU library, KU and the KU library is just assisting in populating data on those two databases.
Right.
But the consumers are out there.
Okay.
Yes.
The Kenya Education Research Database, KERD. I think we can now get a look at that. What is there, and what levels of education research are supported in this platform?
Yes, basically, as he has said, it runs on DSpace. It's just like an offshoot of the institutional repository, but this is specialized because it is dealing with the basic education.
Okay.
The basic education sector. The content that relates to that.
When you say basic education, that covers
the lower primary, the upper primary, and also secondary education.
Okay.
The content there is specialized, and also the tourism project, the two were mooted during the COVID period, because the two sectors were very critical. Anything that happens to the tourist sector, it's like to bring the country to the knees. You know the effect that COVID had on education.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why they attracted the kind of support they got, the collaboration, just to give the information that can be useful to turn around the two sectors.
Right.
That's why they became very useful.
I love that the library took the situation, the COVID-19 situation, not so negatively, found a way to innovate around it and come up with some of these solutions.
We were only lucky that we had the platforms to capture the information, because we only sifted what is available in tourism to turn around the sector. Anything that is relating to the tourism, and this information is very critical. What can bring flow to the tourism sector?
Right.
Because the kind of employment that is in the tourism sector is very high. Anything affecting the sector is very critical. So this is a resource that can help anybody who is interested to understand what can be done to rectify the situation.
Okay, so I know we've covered a lot on all these different systems, very good innovation, access that is access that's available remotely through the internet, smartphone, and all of that. But there are people who are living with disabilities, who might need assistive technology, whose vision is impaired, whose motion is impaired, and all of those issues and challenges. Is there a way that the library during this innovation process has handled it? And is there a platform maybe that is dedicated to helping these people who are living with disabilities also do their research and access this information?
I can confirm that the university has invested heavily on mainstreaming disability on campus. And if you walk around, you'll notice that Kenyatta University has a full-fledged directorate that handles disability matters. And it trains us on how to handle these people. we have seen the Maruti shuttle that ferries those people in whatever destination.
Yeah.
Now,
can't miss it on campus.
Coming home to the library now, we have mainstreamed all that. We have a full section that handles users with disabilities. And even the technology is there. They have special computers that magnify content. If it is an A4, it is blown to A3. For low vision, they are able to read that. Now, for those who are blind, we have technologies like the NVDA that is able to convert text into audio, and they can listen.
Nice.
So our users, our staff have been trained to handle all the various disability in the users who come to the section. And even the entrance, you'll find that there is a ramp
that is fully dedicated to.
Yes. So anybody who is on a wheelchair, they are able to motorize themselves into the library.
Nice.
And the communication, because we register them specifically, and our staff get the communication. They are the ones who call the Maruti, and they escort the users outside the library, and they are picked and taken to the next.
Nice. That is a very good and a very inclusive approach.
Yes.
Now, maybe if we can wrap up with a few takes on the future outlook. I start with you, Mr. Mutiso, and what do you see? How do you see the direction with this postmodern? We're going to get postmodern, super ultra postmodern library of Kenyatta University. What other projects are maybe coming up, and the ones that are ongoing that maybe we might not be aware of, and just generally the direction, a take from each of you on the direction these projects are going. Yeah.
Okay. First, I think we need to acknowledge that after COVID, there's no going back. And the future of education is online. Of course, our users, mostly students, are still begging for online, for face-to-face access to their lecturers and also information. But looking at how the institution is being revamped, Kenyatta University, is that information is going to be accessible online, and also teaching. So the library has stepped up the process of acquiring both ebooks and e-journals. Currently, we have got over 40,000 full-text books which have been integrated in the library system. We have got about 81 full-text scholarly databases cutting across all the disciplines taught within the university. And so the library is making a full initiative to make sure that an information literacy program to all staff and students. The library again has come up with librarians, liaison librarians of all the schools, although they are being reduced. Each school has a liaison librarian, and the function of a liaison librarian is the school board. When they are reviewing curriculum, when they are having academic meetings, apart from discussing the content of the curriculum, the liaison librarian is also available to advise the faculty about what type of materials are available, and also to access information, how to do academic writing on a continuous basis. And so the library is repackaging itself to make sure that if at all, if the university went full blast on Odell programs, we'll be able to handle all our users, irrespective of their physical distance.
Right.
Yes.
All right. That is Mr. Mutiso's take on the future outlook of Kenyatta University. We'll come to you, Samuel, now. What do you see into the future? Actually, the library should maybe be its own school now. It's getting too powerful with how you're innovating, which is a really good way to see that just the library on its own is providing so many resources that even some like a school should be able to provide as part of the university. So maybe your take also on the future outlook.
Well, I think the library has a very critical role in a university. It is also always said to be the heart of a university. And you know, when your heart stops,
everything else stops.
You are dead.
Yes.
One thing to the strides that have been made is the close collaboration between the library per se and the ICT directorate. The close collaboration and the secondment of staff in the library to run the systems has made the library do the things that it has done to be a postmodern institution.
All right.
Now, David has mentioned about the training. The more innovative and the more changes happen, the more we require to train our users to access information using the new technologies. So that is one area we are going to deepen going forward. Two, I want to say that where we got OJS to run online journals so that they are accessible or freely, we want now to move on where now the library can harness the works that have been documented by the faculty members and convert them into books.
Okay.
Those kind of publications, they are called monographs.
Monographs.
And there is an open system called Open Monograph Systems. It also came from the same organization that came up with the OJS. Yes.
Right.
So it is very easy, and the experience we have had with the OJS, it will help us now. There are lecturers who have taught for several years. The notes they have been using, if they update them, we can convert them into monographs.
Right. And the monographs, as they call them now.
And then you can avail that content online.
Right. So that is a good direction.
Yes. So that's one critical direction we want to see probably in the short term.
Right. Yes. Thank you very much. And that's, of course, the future, the outlook of the postmodern, going to be ultra postmodern library because of those efforts that are being done there. Digitizing these resources. Remember you can access them. If you're a university student of Kenyatta University especially, make sure that you're taking advantage of all these resources being availed to you for free. Yeah, so type out, ingia pale maktaba, angalie kidogo kidogo journals so that you can be well informed on what kind of things they're working on and what you can expect into the future. Of course, we need to embrace technology as we move towards enhancing information, access to information, and utilizing some of all these softwares in ensuring that we're all getting the necessary research yenye imefanywa huko nje, information by people who are well versed in the fields which they've studied for, and of course most of them from Kenyatta University. Thank you for having that conversation with me, and I hope that people can be checking that out. I have just one question which I've seen here on Facebook, and maybe just a clarity, because we've spoken about so many things which are accessible and some which are not. Mtoto wa Mariam on Facebook anauliza, does that mean the library will be available for members of the public? I don't know how you're going to. Maybe you can answer him there.
The answer is no. We have, for example, the institutional repository is accessible to the members of the public, but the subscribed resources, one has to be authenticated. You need to have a username associating yourself with the university, and then a password which is generated by the system. And so you need to log in through the platform to be able to access the content that has been subscribed by the university.
Right.
Every year we spend about close to 15 million to subscribe to those resources for staff and the students. The way the publishers operate is that they want to be accessed only within the IP range or within the institution. But because our users are not all within the institution, we subscribe to another software which links our users to the university, which authenticates our users through the university, although they are outside.
Right.
Although they are outside. Okay. And so whether you are within the university or outside the university, you have to log in, you have to be authenticated to be able to use the resources that are available.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Felix, you want to add something on top of that? And also, is it possible to get the ICT department to come and explain to us some of these technologies and how they work?
Well, I want to emphasize what he has said. Yes, we are saying that we have liberalized access to our resources. It's only some. But like he has said, the institutional repository, that one we are reacting to a movement called open access, open science. I can access the other institutions' institutional repository. I can go to the University of Nairobi institutional repository
and get it.
Because the thesis done there, they have done either using public money or in public institutions.
Right.
So
it's good to offer it to the public.
Yes. And the importance of doing that is that I need to know what is being done in University of Nairobi, because I may be interested in doing something similar. So if I find that what I was interested to do has already been done, I have no business duplicating.
Right.
I can change tangent.
Or maybe build up on it.
And do something else that is related.
Nice.
You see?
Yeah.
So, and I can access even Harvard, even Cambridge. They have their repository.
That is open access.
Yes. There is a global movement now towards putting research content out there.
Okay.
So that one we don't hinder. But anything that we have bought using KU money for purposes of staff and students of Kenyatta University, we have to create the necessary rights for the users who are here.
Great. Thank you very much, Samuel and David, for having that conversation with me. Watu wa Kenyatta University, ensure that you are checking that out. I think I'll get you guys to do a last remark, maybe. I don't know if there's people in the library who would love to be told thank you for helping the process or setting it up. The Vice Chancellor maybe. But I'll get you a last take and then we'll go for that break.
We'll, at the library level, we really appreciate the support we have gotten from Director of ICT, of course through the university management, and we're happy that we have been given a free hand to create content and make it available to the global community without so many hurdles. Be given that free hand, so we appreciate. And we also appreciate the fact that the university has agreed to spend so much money, financial resources, to make research information available to both staff and the students. And so we are happy that the university acknowledges the role the library plays, and they are always ready to support any request from the library if it is serving the good of the entire institution.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a last take, or is that?
Well, one, I want to appeal to our users who may be listening to the program. The library is ready to provide the resources that they need. They need to patronize our resources.
Yeah.
They just need to visit any library that is near them. We work as one network. If you go to our Mombasa campus, Kitui, or whichever,
you will get it.
Yes, the same information you get is the one you get from main campus.
Nice.
So it is very important that they patronize our services and they are guided properly. It will make them spend less. Two, I want to acknowledge and appreciate the synergy I've seen across departments in the library, because the library cannot succeed unless the people who benefit from it partake what it produces. So the Directorate of ICT, the management by availing the budget, the schools who consume our resources, and the advisors on what to procure. And going forward, we look forward to getting more.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Biashara Tuesday still on air. #Biashara Tuesday. Mtoto wa Mariam. I hope mpata jibu yako. Give me more questions. Next up is Mental Health Awareness Month. What are you doing to make yourself mentally healthy? One of those things you should be doing is engaging in outdoor activities, hiking, taking a walk, camping. You know, if you are someone who's looking towards doing that, tune in. There's a conversation happening right about now, so don't go too far.
Legendary speech.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
Imagine living in a society that embraces social justice and equal opportunities for all. On Woman Crush Wednesday, Rise Today, we bring you experts for meaningful conversations on matters, gender equality.
Mimi nasaona hakuna gender equality as we speak.
So we continuously work with the men.
I feel that they are judging the girl. Parenthood.
Mind is very important in infertility.
Mental and physical health.
You need to be surrounded by a proper network.
After nimeanza healing process, nilikumbuka kuhusu boys na wase wenye niliacha ghetto. Like kila wakati nilikuwa najaribu kutafuta mbinu yenye naweza wafikishie ujumbe.
I feel like if you have 15 minutes, if you have 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever amount of time, use it. Because any physical activity is beneficial. No physical activity is dangerous for you.
And we touch on current affairs.
Marrying is a journey. It means you're taking a journey together.
I'm dying to be different.
Changamoto ziko, but you can't sit there saying, oh, mimi nitafanya mziki siku yenye dozi takampe.
You look at this person and you're like, wow, they just woke up and they found themselves here.
Join us every Wednesday morning at 7 to 10 a.m. here on Rise Today Woman Crush Wednesday. I am your host, Nina Gikunda.
What is this magic? I need that magic.
Somebody call 911. Anything for your girl, give me more.
Nasema sugri wagri, den.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
At least in your lifetime, you face the challenge of house hunting.
We witness this major issue when it comes to the housing sector, especially for the students. You come all the way from Mombasa maybe, and remember there's also another person coming from Kisumu. You're trying to get a house, you get some very funny posters sometimes that are usually under the electric poles, if you know those posters, the ones that are usually under Muganga Hodari. That is why Keja exists. It's here in order to make sure that the people that you get, the houses that you get, are genuine houses.
All right. So if you are, what do they call themselves? Person who doesn't like going out or doesn't like interacting with other people. Someone who, an introvert. Yes, that's the word I was going for. An introvert. If you're an introvert, this is a show that you're supposed to be watching right about now. If you're an extrovert, this is even way better for you because you need to know what kind of activities you can take up in the next few weekends and how exciting they are. However, most importantly, how do outdoor activities contribute towards mental health? I'm having this conversation with I was going for GEO, the CEO, Jasiri Outdoors, and is Emmanuel Nguti joining me here on set, #Biashara Tuesday. If you have any questions, ensure that you're sending them to me, but I had earlier asked you, how do you do to keep your mental health in check? Here, CEO Jasiri anasema he goes for hikes, something that he's done since 2013. So we're trying to get that and how it contributes to healthy mental health, right? Let's get to it. When a CEO, I rarely find people who conduct outdoor activities, creating a company or creating a venture that they are leading, like a company, like a business, for this kind of activities. So introduce yourself and maybe tell us what made you think of this as a business.
Okay, my name is Emmanuel Nguti. That's what they call me. But I call myself the Black Panther. That's the name I gave myself because of the weight it carries. Mm-hmm. And so that's the name known in the outdoor industry. Mm-hmm. I started hiking back in 2013 in one of the biggest schools around, Starehe Boys Center.
Sorry, what? One of the biggest what?
not one of the biggest, actually the biggest school in this south of the world. Yeah, in 2013, I did my first hike and I ended up doing all the hikes when I was a student there. And afterwards I continued, had another program with the President's Award. So there's where my love for outdoors peaked.
So you win the President's Award. I remember back in my high school as well. There was that going to camping, hiking, so some fun activities.
So there's where it started.
Okay.
Yeah, so after that, continued to campus, still ran the same as an assessor of the program. So there's where the love for the outdoors peaked. And once you start hiking, you never go back. You never go back. It's addictive.
It is.
Yeah, so coming to it as a business, it was more of I personally don't stay in the houses on Saturdays. That's we say weekend is for outdoors. So when it came to last year, we were somewhere, we were doing the same thing but with different people, and then now 2022 came and I decided it's time to bring more people on board. As a company, there are things you can't do as an individual because there are organizations that can't work with you if you're not registered, you're not tax compliant and stuff. So the company had to come up and for the big vision that I had for this thing, and I think I'll mention as we go forward.
As we go on.
Yeah.
Right. You said you came from one of the big schools in this side of the world.
Yeah.
There are people from a certain school in the bushes of Kikuyu that will disagree with that. What do you have to say about it?
I know these people from the bush.
These people from the bush.
These people from the bush. It's the only thing they brag about is they did well.
Yeah.
And then
And then that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. So people from the bush take care.
Yeah.
Well, that's a conversation for another day. So how, this is Mental Health Awareness Month. How has this hiking journey, outdoors activities, become something that promotes mental health for yourself and maybe for the people who you've seen come through for the hikes?
Personally, it has really worked, because there is a time I was working on some stuff and they were very intense. And every time I found an opportunity to go out there for a hike, I always came back a happier person. I came back fulfilled, and I always felt there is just something about the outdoors. That's why I actually left whatever I was doing and ventured fully now into outdoor activities, so that I help other people who maybe felt the same and do not have that opportunity to go out more often. So they could choose, I go out once a month, I go out twice a month. And Jasiri Outdoors is not just about hiking. There are other activities. We have team building sessions. We also do service provision for a school wants to do a private activity somewhere. So we take them to the particular venue and facilitate the activities. So you talk of mental health. So in our service provision, we do what we call adventure learning. It's a program under Jasiri Outdoors. So this is a program specifically for students. So our intention is to help students break the monotony of the classwork, and especially in this digital era, guys are trapped in the gadgets. So we are trying to reduce the screen time, so that you go out there and experience and know that there is life
outside the online spaces that you're the box that you put yourself in.
Yes. And about mental, I have to talk about it practically.
Yeah.
There is a time last year we were called to facilitate a team building in one of the schools that I'll not mention because we are no longer working with them.
Okay. I hope it's not the school from the bushes.
No. It's a bigger school actually.
Oh wow.
So we went out with the kids and we were mentioned, the teachers pointed out a few students. This one has an issue, this had an issue. And one of the students actually was fully into depression. And they told us the parents had actually requested that the student does not sit for any exam. He just relaxes, go to school, but he not sit for the exam because he was really depressed. So he had to recuperate with time. We started our activities, and when we put them into groups for easy facilitation, we found that the teachers actually found that the student has something more outside the classroom, because anytime you could tell them to do something, he calls the group and tries to arrange them. Okay, this is how you're going to go about it, this is how you're going to do about it, for every activity that we assign them. And then you realize that this guy is very good at leadership. So as much as he was not very good at classwork, he was good on this side of life. So after that activity was done, the boy was the most hyped in the group. Going back, the parents told us 2 weeks after that was the end of his therapy sessions. He never went back for any therapy sessions. He actually sat for exams 2 weeks after that.
Nice.
And the results were very positive.
Nice.
So I have to talk about it practically that way. So that's
how it works towards promoting mental health.
Yes.
That is a very good approach. Now, someone might ask though, outdoors is a very engaging session, right? So if it's hiking, I have to climb a mountain or a hill. If it's walking or if it's team building, physical exertion, right? What is it about outdoors that is relaxing, yet it's so difficult? Yet the whole process is tiring. However, when people come from hikes, when they come from camping, they are tired, but they say they are now refreshed. How does that work? What's it with outdoors?
Yeah, as I said earlier, once you start hiking, that's it. You just need to do your first hike. it's addictive and you never go back. And people hike for different reasons. There are those amateur hikers who just hike for speed. They want to see how fast am I going to complete this trail. There are those who hike for views. The best views, they're always there with their cameras, their phones. You want to capture the best moment, and that's why they go out. There are those who hike for for company. So they go there to engage with people. So it's the connection with people that take them out there. And then now there are those who just hike because they like traveling. So you have to identify, first of all, under which category do you lie. And you can only identify after you turn up for your first hike. And for the many years that I've done hiking, I've taken people as young as 5 years and as old as 75 years old, and there is no one person that I've taken out for the first time and they never came back for the second one. Never.
You have to go back.
At least not me.
At least not for you.
Yeah, at least.
Personally, I'd say as well, true, because the first time I tried a hike, I had to go back, and I don't think I've ever stopped. But though the periods might be longer, but I still do go.
But you know what they say? On their first hike, they'll tell you, I'll not come back for this thing again. You're never going to see me. But then they're the first one to ask you, when is the next one going to be? Yeah. So you just need to start.
That's how it is. Yeah, I think that really does also work. All those different aspects are promoting mental health. If it's company, getting to talk to other people. If it's the views, very therapeutic and also meditative in nature. Yeah. So if it's about speed, you have a goal to focus on, away from any other mental challenges that you might have.
Yeah, and it's just like a workout. It's only that it works out it works out both physical and your mental, because you're told, you meet people coming down, you're going up the trail, you ask them how long is it to the summit, they tell you 5 minutes, you keep walking for another 2 hours, you're not yet at the summit, you feel like coming back, but then you see like, okay, I've come this far, should I go back? No, I think I should try more. And mostly for it to work well, you need a very good hiking company. By company, I mean the people you're hiking with. Yeah, the group. You utilize the energy of the group, and it takes you further than you'll otherwise have gone, and it works perfect.
What is your most memorable outdoor activity? The one that you've done that you say, where here at I'm still waiting to beat that.
I think Mount Kenya last December.
Oh wow, yeah, you did that.
Yeah.
All the way up?
Yeah, all the way up. I've done it severally, but that was unique because I had a group of 32 people. Out of the 32, more than half were first timers.
On Mount Kenya.
Yes. So it's first timers. They have never hiked before.
Not that they've never hiked Mount Kenya. They've never hiked
before. More than half the group.
Okay, and they did Mount Kenya?
Yes, they did Mount Kenya, and I had like 8, or let me call them elder people. One was 75 and the wife was 69. They've never hiked in their whole life, but it was snowy, the weather was brutal. Like a day before we summited, the group couldn't go up, but we went up. I still have frostbites healing in my 2 tips, fingertips. So we managed to get 29 out of the 32 on the summit, and that was my ultimate success.
Even the first timers made it to the top.
All the first timers.
So I can do Mount Kenya?
Yes.
I've been afraid that maybe I've not done a big
Mount Kenya is overrated.
Is it?
It's overrated.
It's something that you can do.
As long as you have no health complications.
But you have frostbite, bro.
No, this one, it's one of the clients removed their hands to take a peek, and then they delayed for like 3 minutes, and it was. So by the time they realized they're freezing, so I had to give them my thermal glove. I took their light one, so I had a light glove on a beyond freezing point. So that's why I got those. Yeah, but it's still.
Oh, still. Okay, so let's get to the worst experience. Let's not call it worse. Tell us about a challenging experience. One of the most challenging experiences you've had outdoors.
The most challenging, I think, it was in 2015 when I was still in high school. I was trying to become one of the leaders of the President's Award in the school. It used to be a very tough training. So we were doing Ngong Hills. Ngong Hills was still Ngong Hills those days. Wachana saa hizi, there's no Ngong Hills to hike. So yeah,
Kwani walikata kidogo?
No,
there's no Ngong Hills. What do you mean there's no Ngong
people have
Hills?
encroached, so like there is a path all the way up.
Yeah. Okay.
Nowadays, those days it was
you finding your way.
Yeah, we used to call ourselves pathfinders.
Okay.
So we started hiking at around 4 p.m. and it was raining from the side of Kiserian coming to, there is a school called Olepolos along Magadi Road. So up to until midnight, we are still on top of Ngong Hills. We've lost our way. It's raining. I have almost 30 kgs of weight on my back. Walking barefoot.
In the rain.
Yeah. You've stepped on thorns of all types and buffaloes running here, hyenas and start. Google Maps backfired. They were not working. So we only found our way at around 1 a.m. and we were picked up. We didn't even walk up to the campsite. So that remains my toughest, I think.
Toughest period, but you still did love the experience.
Of course. Memories are always good. Experience inakuanga mbaya, but the memories
are top notch.
Perfect.
Okay, so how do you provide rates for these activities? I know that you sometimes you work with you are open to working with institutions, as you said, and also individuals who might want to join a group or a time that you're out there. So how do you, I don't know how to ask the rates because I know there's so many activities, but maybe a brief rundown of the most visited places and how much it costs, or just a normal hike.
First of all, rates differ depending with the company, but I'll talk now for my company. The only thing that brings up the difference in the rates is transport. Transport currently is very expensive for outdoors. Very, very expensive. Because of fuel. So that's what brings about more that about the hill. It's just about the collecting the entrance.
Okay.
Because you expected once they took over, they could plant more trees, put a fence all over the hill so that the locals don't
invade and encroach.
They don't encroach the hill.
Okay.
But
so I think maybe I can. Oh, we didn't finish. Longonot?
Longonot 1800.
Okay.
Yeah.
Abadeas?
Abadeas 2,800 to 3,200.
What's the next one that's coming up?
Next one we have Olesekut coming up on Sunday. It's 2,200. After that we have 7 Ponds in Abadeas. I think it's 2,800. It's around I think 3,200. Not very sure. I need to confirm. Yeah, that's on 28th of this month.
Yeah,
and so we have mixed, so that we have people who want to start embracing outdoors also come in. So like Olesekut is an easy hike. It's very easy. That one will take around 4 hours to get done. But for us, we integrate. We base more on giving people the experience apart from just hiking. So we have team building activities before we start our hikes. And then after the hike, we also have post-hike stretches and stuff.
All of that.
Yeah, so before people start hiking, you've already known the people you're going to hike with. You know at least, okay, for me I give them at least 5 people who you didn't know when you came here, what they do, where they come from. So at times I'm hiking and then someone start telling you about so and so, and you're like, who is that?
Who's that?
Yeah. And you forget that you had already told them to engage. Yeah, so that in itself, so that you're not just going to be walking up the trail, you don't
and then
know,
coming back.
Yeah.
So it's an interactive process.
An interactive session.
Okay.
So that makes it.
Do you do out the country, Kilimanjaro? Nikitaka kwenda Kilimanjaro.
Okay, I think I should just mention that Kilimanjaro, we are doing Kilimanjaro not this year, next year. Jasiri Outdoors is only 3 months. It's only 3 months old. But the things we've done, I sit and look back. We've been, actually I tell people we are only 3 months old. They're like,
3 months old with all of those activities that you mentioned.
Yeah. We've worked with schools. Like we work with churches, we work with corporate. It's doing very well for.
So here at KUTV tukitaka kwenda mahali hivi. Do the thing.
Yeah, I can organize for staff members. Niaje, we have your staff members want to do this and this. Do you have any preferred place? Okay, I'm in a better position actually to recommend. Okay, you can do this, so that we have those who have never done hiking. So this is the best place to go. We can integrate with these activities. So we having, as the title says, we want to make Kenya a hiking nation. And in the next 2 years, trust you me, Jasiri Outdoors will be all over this country.
Right.
Like for our adventure learning program, the schools, it includes the staff members and the students. So we want to go up to the smallest school in this country.
Or to get outdoors.
Yes. Because we have packages for everyone. Yes. Okay. I'll rather do it for free, but they embrace.
Make sure that they embrace.
Yeah, it's not about the profits. It's not about the profits. Profits will come. Okay, they've already come. Yeah, they've already come. But you see,
good flex.
Yeah. So in 2 years,
things will be intense.
Everyone will be knowing about Jasiri Outdoors all over the country.
So and I knew that at 3 months old. So I might be one of those Christopher Columbus of Jasiri Outdoors. Now, you mentioned about encroachment of Ngong, and I want to ask maybe, and I want to put it in 2 ways. Yeah. So how do you feel the government and its agencies like KWS, KFS, how can they make sure that these places are protected? Places like Ngong, as you said, and Karura, and all of those outdoor places that we'd love to go to. But secondly, the responsibility of citizens. We've had so many issues with Karura, especially. Watu wanaingia huko ndani, anafanya mambo yao, and then the place becomes trash. Yeah, they throw trash everywhere, or people just don't. Even Ngong, actually, right? It became a thing where people go and park cars, drink and eat, and then just leave the rest of the stuff there. So how can we, all of us, work together towards protecting these places as you've been visiting and seeing?
Now, first of all, anyone who litters a place is not a hiker and is not an outdoors person.
Akae kwa nyumba.
Those people, we always, because for outdoor people, we say, leave no trace. So if I was here, leave no trace that you are at this place. And we are trying to ensure that, especially you'll find that most hiking companies actually, those who value what they do, we are actually getting rid of plastic bottles completely, because actually they are banned from the parks, but they're not that strict. But it's our responsibility to tell our clients, use reusable bottles, so that when you come to this place, you're not going to drink a 250 ml bottle of water and then drop it. On the side of the government, I think it's about ensuring that the officers at the entrance and all those in charge, they don't focus more on selling the reusable bottles, because you go to Longonot, they'll tell you to buy water at 50 bob and buy a bottle of water at 100 bob. There is no water on top. Longonot is very hot, and you'll find that there is someone maybe who didn't know that those plastic bottles are not allowed into the park. So what are they going to do? Okay,
so they just have to leave the water bottles behind.
Yes, just tell them, I'll take your ID, so once you're checking out, you check out with your 4 bottles. It's very simple, so that next time they'll come back with the reusable bottles.
Nice.
You go to Sabuk, they have a water tank on top. They have water points on top. So in such a place, when you tell someone don't go with a plastic water bottle, they can survive, because they'll get water on top. So it's just those facilities that you're supposed to put on hills, and
so having water points
and litter bins. You go to Ngongis, they don't want to litter, but there is a time I was there, I think 2020, there was no litter bin. Kuanzia chini mpaka to the summit and back, no single litter bin. So what happens?
People just litter anywhere.
Sabuk, they have litter bins, and they have people picking litter. So that's one of I think that's my best managed KWS destination. Ole Sabuk, I'll go there any day, anytime.
And that should be done in all the other places, yeah?
It's very simple.
Easy. It's very easy.
It's very easy.
Do we have enough guides?
We have enough guides, but you don't have enough qualified guides.
What does that mean?
Enough qualified guides, it means they know what they're supposed to do. Because for me, when I go out, okay, yes, I'm the CEO, but that's managerial. So I call myself a team leader. So when I'm there, it's not about me, it's about the clients. Some of us enjoy the hike once people are back home, everyone is home safe, and then you sit and reflect and you say, now it was nice.
Yeah.
But now if you call yourself a guide, but then you're the first one to exit, you're the first one to exit the park, leaving clients behind. It doesn't operate that way.
Right.
Because in case of anything, you are the one who is supposed to be accountable for these people. If you are the guide assigned by the KWS, that means just the way those at Mount Kenya do, very professional guides. I'm not talking about the porters. Those have their own issues.
Okay.
So I think they should have like guides for every destination. Like if it's 7 ponds, you have guides who are professionals with badges or identification cards that they are guides to that particular mountain, so that in case anything happens, you can easily follow up. But I've gone for example to Elephant Hills, and those police officers there tell you, I'm going to assign you these 3 guides for your group, because on average you work with 1 guide for 10 people. So let's say I have 30 people, so I'll have like 3 guides and myself and my resident guide. But then once you start hiking, you don't see those people anywhere.
They go back.
No, what happens is the police have like 5 boys. So they just operate in between. So it will be 5 people in charge of all the groups that will be coming on that hill on that day.
That's
so they end up collecting fees from all these groups. You're told they are your guides, but they're guides for everyone. So they don't care about what happens to your group.
All they care about is what they're gaining.
Exactly.
Okay.
How fast are you going to finish and go?
Okay, so we need to change that for those relevant agencies ambazo zinasikiza huko nje. Outdoor activities, quite a very interesting conversation. I know there's a lot we can speak about.
It's a lot.
But now maybe for those people ambao nilikuwa nimeanza kusema wanajita introverts. Nasema mimi mambo ya huko nje hapana. Let me just stay in the house. I don't want to socialize with people. I don't like people. I don't go out with people. What do you have to tell them? Get them out of the house. When you watch show saizi na wakimaliza show wanabaki kwa nyumba. Get them out of the house.
First of all, hakuna mtu apendi watu.
This camera and talk to them directly.
Those of you at home, there is no one who doesn't like people. We are social beings by nature. Hata mimi ni introvert. Okay, Nguti is an introvert, but then Black Panther is now the extrovert. So it's very simple. Just get out. Once you do your first hike, that's it. Come do your first hike and then sit and rethink if again you'll still be an introvert or imekuwa to introvert because you have no opportunity to get out there. It's like saying najua mtoi wangu apendi kuswim. You've never taken him to the swimming pool.
Oh, minimalist ni hauna pesa.
Umesota bro. So it's just come out for your first activity. We have Ole Sekut coming up. A very easy hike. Come interact with us. I'll guide you through the whole journey and you'll be happy.
Which one am I coming for?
7 points.
28th, 7 points. Yeah.
Mimi kama CEO nakupea free.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we are coming through on the 28th.
Yeah, 28th.
Tutakuwa pale. So kama unataka kunijoin, make sure una come through. Given free here from Jasiri Outdoors. Now, maybe a shout out to the guys who help you, because I'm sure it's a company of people who also work really hard. I've seen guides when I'm going out to one of those hikes, guides who work tirelessly. And by the time of the end of the hike, because the rest of us are there to enjoy. Sisi tuko hapo, wengine wako able to speakers, wengine wako na sijui vinywaji nini and all of that, and then you forget that this guy is so stressed about sijui tumeacha nani nyuma, sijui nani yako mbele, and all of that. I'm sure you've gone through so much of that. Maybe just a shout out to those people, because I know they work really hard, and anyone else who's helped Jasiri Outdoors.
First of all, I'd like to give much thanks to my clients. Jasiri Outdoors is run by them. We sit, they're the ones who decide on the calendar, they're the ones who decide where you're going to. Okay, they decide this is the time you're going to leave. Tukichelewa wacha watu. They're the ones who run the company, so big shout out to them. Kina Winnie and all those people out there. Winnie has been a very great resource to us. Derek Karani runs our marketing department. We have Mackenzie, people like Gerald. It's a big team, and I'm just the face of the big team. And I call myself their team leader. So as I always tell them, siwezi waangusha, we are going places. To those schools and corporates that have trusted us, just giving a 2-month-old company business worth a few number of zeros, it's been an honor, and we keep doing it. So engage us.
How can they get to you? Yes. Go on.
Our social media platforms at Jasiri Outdoors, Instagram at Jasiri Outdoors, Facebook. Mimi Instagram yangu ni Silvaro_Black Panther.
Hey bro.
Yeah.
Takumbuka hiyo kweli, Silvaro_Black Panther.
Black Panther. Yeah.
So make sure that you get that. Yeah, it's on the screen as well, so I'm told. One more thing is 28th umesema ni sangapi? That's the question I've been asked.
28th departure time is 5 a.m. and our clients know that we give an allowance of 5 minutes. So 5:06 kindly utakuja na nduthi ya theirs. Yeah. So
wanasema wale ambao CEO ajapatia pardon ya kwenda for free watalipa pesa ngapi again?
Let me just confirm. I think just a minute.
All right, so Jasiri Outdoors, make sure that you check them out all over social media platforms. Jasiri ni for bravery, so I think that does mean a lot for anyone who wants to go and take a hike and have fun and meet other people and interact with them as well. So check them out on social media and come through to this hike that you're trying to confirm the
Jasiri, the 7 points is 3,000.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only 3,000. As we say at Jasiri Outdoors, #Kuwa Jasiri. So really? Kuwa Jasiri and turn up for our events.
Okay. We're going places physically and financially, so all the best.
And emotionally.
Right. Yeah. And emotionally, mental health, which is really important. So meet you at the end of the month as we go and exercise outdoors and check out our mental health. If you missed any bit of this conversation, as I always say, roll back on Facebook, on YouTube, and also we'll be uploading it later on our YouTube channels, KUTV Kenya. Christine Wasike, asema
Christine was one of our very first clients.
Nice.
She was number 3 actually to book our first ever activity.
Okay.
We always give out badges for every activity. I conquered 7 ponds, I conquered Olesekut, and at the end of the quarter, like the first quarter, we reward the most decorated male and reward the most decorated female. Christine Wasike was our most decorated female for the first quarter.
Nice.
There is my guy called Santoki. Santoki was the first person ever to book our activities. He was the most decorated male. Those are people who came for 5 out of the 6 activities we had for the first quarter of the activities.
Right, so she's tuned in. So shout out to Christine. And Robert as well, tuned in here. Ashley Asachi tuned in as well to the show. Thank you very much for tuning in. That is Jasiri Outdoors. And let me take this break and then come back. Then we close up the show, right? Don't go.
haven't had a child, they decided to move back home and make things official. Now, here is the bombshell. They found out that they were related. Wow. With Orbital Global, you can save yourself the embarrassment.
How well do you know your family lineage? Your cousins, uncles, aunties, nephews, nieces? Orbital is here for you. Visit www.orbitalglobal.com. Orbital Global, connecting families, uniting nations.
Unemployment has hit you hard. Your salary is meager. You decide to venture into business, but you're struggling to thrive in it. You would want to rip a big tip on how not to run into losses.
Forget the preachy business vlogs, the hyperbolic motivational speeches, and all the roads down desperation.
Hope has come with model stories from small successful entrepreneurs. We tell you these tales weekly on The Budding Entrepreneur. Join us as we help you make your trade profitable and often smile to the bank.
Come see America each week on VOA Connect, a 30-minute program showcasing Americans, telling America's story in their own words.
Shows right here, an event like this, that Americans can come together.
From events that affect thousands to personal stories that might never be seen, VOA Connect provides context for the American experience, focusing on compelling stories with personal narratives that inform and inspire. On VOA Connect.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
Things you know are right. Nothing worth the gain you attain by sudden flip. Don't you know that I still care for you? Me flip flop got me needing more and more of you. Gonna be the one to catch you.
Far East, welcome to the empire. Far East, because we find true love. You will see what your love has done for me.
Difficult because them ignorant and I. One alone they get and I go live another life. Telling them again, but I know in a device. Life, no get chance too often. Cut out some of the sadness and invest in a laughing. Time you take a stress, lifetime passing. Tell them so you love them for yourself.
All right, that's a Biashara Tuesday for you. Thank you for tuning in since we began at 7 in the morning. Na saizi tuko on the wrap up. If you missed this, I know that you didn't catch earlier on. We were here on set with one Mr. Ouma, political analyst and entrepreneur, who helped me take a look at the papers. Very interesting takes on the various things that are happening in the country, from politics to business and startups world. And something that he mentioned, very curious, is that the politics of tyranny of numbers is evolving to what values the several parties which come under a coalition have. I don't know if that's the same take that you have or the same outlook. I'd love to hear your feedback on that. After the newspaper review, of course, later on we were here on set speaking matters of the Kenyatta University Library Services, about they are opening access to all the information, the journals, the past papers to university students here at Kenyatta University, and staff as well. But they are as well having an institution repository where you can access some of that work as well. So if you're out there, check out maktaba.ku.ac.ke. That's where you can get all the links necessary for you to access some of that information. Jasiri Outdoors ametoka hapa saizi CEO akiniambia kwamba wako na so many activities that can help you this month. Mental health awareness, one of those things you should do is book with them. They have one hike coming up this weekend and another one on 28th, which I'll be going to. So if you want to come through to any of those, ensure you're searching Jasiri Outdoors all over the social media platforms. And once you get that, utuambie how the experience was, and we'd love to have that. So many conversations, but make sure you're checking them out on YouTube, KUTV Kenya. That's where we'll be uploading them later. We have been live on Facebook. I am sorry I could not read all the comments from Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as well, but make sure that we are interacting all across the week at Richard_Okenye on all the platforms that I'm at. DM me, tag me, mambo kama hayo, tuta interact. Halafu, we come back on Tuesday and do business again. KUTV Race today goes on throughout the rest of the week. Tomorrow, WCW with Nina Gikunda. Thursday, Ojang Mariam. And then Friday, Empire Shaker will be here with Entertainment Matters, Team Weekendi, wakikuletea Weekendi. So get that and then keep it here on the best morning show morning show on your TV every single day of the week. Until next week, if you want to have breakfast in bed, sleep in the kitchen.
Yule